Each year in the United States, thousands of major crimes go unsolved. When the case has gone cold and police have nowhere to turn, they seek assistance from the public. This is a program dedicated to solving these cases. This is Crime Stoppers Case Files.
Every year, crimes go unsolved here in Southern California. Loved ones are left waiting. I'm Joy Benedict. As a news reporter, I've covered countless crimes, countless homicides, and I know that sometimes the victims of these crimes are forgotten almost as quickly as the headlines fade. So tonight, on Crime Stoppers Case Files, we take another look at some of the crimes still left lingering unsolved in our communities. Let's get started. It's July 22nd, 2011. A hard-working father finishing up a late-night shift on a new job comes home, parks just a few blocks from his house, but when he gets out of the car, he's confronted by a man demanding cash. Julian Castaneda, a father of three, just 47 years old, was murdered on his own street.
Yo conocí a mi esposo en una demostración de cristal. Nos vimos los dos que vimos que éramos uno para el otro. A los mes y medio, él me pidió que fuera a su novia y a la vez me dijo que sí podía ser su esposa en ese mismo día. Yo le dije que sí y nosotros a los 3 meses de novios nos casamos. Y él era una persona muy cariñosa. Él buscaba la forma de agradarme, de hacerme sentir bien, de mostrarme que yo era parte de él y que era una parte muy importante. Entonces, cuando nacieron nuestras hijas, para nosotros los dos fue mucha alegría. Cuando vino la primera, hubo mucha felicidad. Cuando vino la segunda, pues más, porque ya eran 2. Ya cuando vino la tercera, que fue algo tan bonito, un regalo tan bonito, porque no sabíamos que estábamos esperando un nuevo miembro de la familia, sino hasta los 7 meses me di cuenta que estábamos esperando otro miembro. Fue una felicidad muy grande. Él era un papá que estaba en todos los partos. Él dejaba todo, su trabajo. A él no le importaba si lo iban a descansar de su trabajo, pero él quería estar en ese momento tan bonito de presenciar el nacimiento de sus hijas.
My dad, he was the best dad ever. He put his family first, my mom, my 2 sisters and me first, for everything. If we weren't allowed to go anywhere, he wouldn't go.
If you're in trouble, he'll be there for you. It wouldn't be like, oh, I can't, I have plans. No, he'd go, oh, they're in trouble, let's go. He was a great guy. To tell you the truth, my dad was like all my friends' dad, because every time they would go to the house, he'll be like, oh, hi. He was like outside with us. He was like playing with us. He was a great man.
My dad was a loving father and he always took care of me and he always liked to have fun.
He was still a child at heart. He had his train set, his cars. He loved playing soccer. He was just the best dad.
We all loved him. You would never see a man. You would always see him with a big smile on his face.
Mi esposo era una persona súper alegre. A él le gustaba mucho el baile, todo el tiempo bailaba para que yo me sintiera feliz.
He would find any way to make you happy. He was a dad and a friend at the same time.
He would go outside during my 15 practices and he would just show all the guys how to shuffle. He'll be, oh, you guys don't know how to shuffle. I do it better, and he will start shuffling. That's one of the memories I keep. That day he went outside to teach all of us how to shuffle.
Para que yo, si tenía una preocupación, era algo bailar, luego disfrutar, llevarme un café. Esas son memorias muy bonitas para mí. Que él me baile y él me atendiera como si fuera una reina, llevándome café a la cama.
He takes care of all of us equally. He loves us equally. He never left us. and he was always by our side. Like, everywhere we went, all 5 of us went.
Él siempre estaba buscando la forma de que en mi casa nunca hubiera tristeza, siempre hubiera alegría. A él decía, no hay que preocuparnos de los problemas van y nosotros somos lo que importamos. Él me dijo algo muy bonito, nosotros tenemos lo que ningún rico tiene, lo que es el amor, la unidad. Los ricos tienen mucho dinero, pero a lo mejor no tienen la unidad que nosotros tenemos, el amor que nosotros tenemos. Eso es muy bonito y eso me va a quedar a mí mucho de recuerdo de él, que su prioridad fue el amor y la unidad y no estar pensando que el dinero, la unidad y el amor.
I don't think lots of people are lucky enough to have a father like mine.
Murder is always heinous regardless of the circumstances, but in this particular case, it really sunk home because this individual, Mr. Castaneda, was a very good person. He had been married for 19 years, had 3 kids, ages 10, 14, and 18, 3 daughters. He was a family man. All the friends and coworkers that we spoke to about him said nothing but good things about him and indicated that he was very much a family man. His best friend, according to all accounts, was his wife. That's who he liked to pal around with, and that's who he liked to spend his time with, his wife and his 3 daughters. He was a church-going man, no criminal history. Everybody spoke very highly of him. No one would have a reason to murder him.
Thanks for staying with us. We now return to the story of Julian Castaneda.
911, what's your emergency?
Yes, I heard some gunshots right here in front of my house, and I think somebody's laying down.
How long ago did you hear this?
Like 5-10 minutes ago, and I think somebody's laying down like that.
You think so?
Yeah,
Hey, you see someone on the ground or what?
yeah. I don't want to go outside because I'm scared.
No, don't go outside.
On July 22nd of 2011, at approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, our victim, Julian Castaneda, was coming home from work. He had just finished his shift, very first shift on a brand new job, and gotten off work at 12:30 that evening. He was very excited about this job because he had worked for a company for 20 years and got laid off because the company downsized. For 2 years, he wasn't able to find a job until he found this one. And he'd just gotten the job the day before his murder, and that night was his first shift. He's very excited about it because he's got a wife of 19 years and 3 kids, ages 10 to 18, so it meant a lot to him, and he's very excited about the job. He came home, drove home. He couldn't park in front of his home because the street was crowded, and he couldn't park in his apartment building because the one spot that he had given it to a relative who was out of town visiting. So he couldn't find parking on his street, so he had to park the next block over, which is California Avenue. He parked and started to walk home on the sidewalk, and as he was approaching his house, carrying his Tupperware lunch pail that his wife had packed for him for that shift, a vehicle approached him on the side street and stopped next to him as he's walking on the sidewalk. The driver of that vehicle exited his car and approached our victim. There was some interaction. At some time, the driver produced a handgun and fired multiple times at Mr. Castaneda, striking him several times. He collapsed on the sidewalk. The driver returned to his car, got in his car, and drove away westbound on Alma Street. The various neighbors in the neighborhood heard the gunfire, looked out the window, saw Mr. Castaneda laying on the sidewalk, and dialed 911. Authorities got there, transported him to St. Francis Hospital, where he was pronounced dead.
It was 4 in the morning. Me and my mom got up, and she tells me, your dad's not back from work yet. Maybe he's still working overtime. Let's just call him. She was calling him from her cell phone. I was calling him from mine. No answer. I was like, well, let's give it some more time. 6 o'clock, we started calling hospitals. St. Francis picked up, and I asked for my dad, and they said, oh yes, he's right here. But they told me that he was very ill. They didn't tell me he had died. We were like, oh my God, maybe my dad got in a car accident or something. Me and my mom, at 4 in the morning, decided to walk out from the house. And we were actually standing there at the crime scene. And I told her, oh, Mom, it's not my dad. I don't see my car, so we're not gonna expect any bad news today, so we made it. My mom goes, yeah, poor family that has to receive the news that they lost a loved one. I was like, yeah, well, may God give them the strength they need, and they'll be in our prayers. So we went, and we were waiting in the waiting room. And the doctor showed up, and she told us that my dad had gotten shot, and he died instantly. Me and my mom just lost it. I didn't want to believe it until I saw the big puddle of blood right there down the block from where I lived. It explains why he didn't make it home in the night and why he didn't pick up his phone.
Based on the fact that Mr. Castaneda's wallet was laying next to him, we believe that this was a street robbery. Crime of opportunity. The perpetrator may have seen Mr. Castaneda at that late hour of the morning, walking alone on a quiet, dark street, and took the opportunity to attempt to rob him.
I'm Los Angeles County Sheriff Lee Baca. The Los Angeles Sheriff's Department has partnered with the LAPD and other municipal police departments throughout our county to form the Los Angeles Regional Crime Stoppers Organization. Crime Stoppers is an important law enforcement tool, a proactive approach to removing dangerous criminals from our streets. Each week on this television program, we will share the facts about unsolved cases, and you will have the opportunity to submit information that may help investigators without ever having to give your name. I encourage you to provide us any information you may have. I thank you for joining us and doing your part to make our community safer.
On July 22, 2011, at approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, the victim, Julian Castaneda, was shot and killed as he walked home from work as he was approaching his home.
But me and my mom that day, we felt like our whole world came crashing down just in one hit. We didn't know what to tell my sisters. We didn't know how they were going to take it.
Que yo se los puedo comparar cuando uno tiene ya mucha hambre y siente que ella mira la comida por todos lados. Así sentimos, así siento yo, así sienten mis hijas, que ya quisiéramos verlo para abrazarlo, besarlo y que nos haga las caras que él nos hacía siempre cuando llegaba a la casa. Nos hacía unas caras muy bonitas, nos extendía los brazos para que lo abrazáramos. Y ahora que no está, no sabemos qué hacer, no sabemos cómo llenar ese vacío, no sabemos si vamos a poder salir sin su amor, sin su compañía, sin su apoyo.
Before, when my dad was alive, the house was always a party. My dad would gather up all the kids, put music all loud, dance with all the kids. And now the house is just dead without him. All my baby sister does is cry.
Yo veo a mis hijas como se ponen de más al decirme la más chica que qué puede hacer ella para irse con su papá, estar sin un beso, sin un abrazo de su papá.
And my medium sister, she was going to have a 15. Now she tells me who is going to do their father-daughter dance with me. That's the whole point of a 15, to be with your dad.
Ayer cumplió 15 años mi hija, la del medio. ¿Qué le podía decir yo cuando ella me decía que quería de regalo a su papá? Yo no puedo darle ese regalo.
I want them to know that they're making an innocent family suffer. He left 3 girls behind and a wife that really, really did love him.
They just tore a real united family apart. We all feel like without him, we're nothing.
He was an innocent man. He was just walking home. He wasn't doing anything bad.
On July 22nd of 2011, at approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, our victim, Julian Castaneda, left his job at approximately 12:30 that night and arrived in his neighborhood approximately 1 o'clock in the morning. As he searched for a parking spot, he couldn't find one on his street. All the spaces were taken. It's a highly populated area. It's a residential neighborhood that's comprised mostly of multi-unit apartment buildings and some homes. It's a high congestion, high density area. Parking's limited on the streets because of the large number of people that live on the block. That particular street is positioned between two major streets. There's a lot of traffic on the major streets, but not very much traffic on the side street, which is a street that our victim was walking when he was approached and killed. As he walked home on the north sidewalk heading westbound on Alma Street, approaching his home, a vehicle pulled up that was also traveling westbound on Alma alongside of him. The vehicle stopped in the middle of the street, and an individual, the driver of that vehicle, exited and approached the victim. The victim, who was on the sidewalk, obviously stopped. Our investigation so far has revealed that this appears to be a street robbery. Mr. Castaneda, from what we can tell, offered no resistance at all. The driver of that vehicle confronted our victim and then produced a handgun and fired several rounds at our victim, striking him several times. The victim collapsed on the sidewalk. The driver of the vehicle got back into his vehicle and drove westbound on Alma to Long Beach Boulevard out of sight. Now, we have neighbors who were able to step forward and provide a description of the suspect. We were able to produce a composite as a result of those neighbors. And the suspect that we're looking for is a male Hispanic, approximately 22 to 25 years of age, 5'7", thin build, with short brown hair with a reddish tint to it, and a light beard and mustache as if it's just growing out, and he's fair complected. And the vehicle that this individual was seen getting into was a white colored four-door sedan with a low-profile spoiler in the back.
Don't do no more harm to other people, to regret what they did to my dad. It was wrong to do because he had 3 young daughters and a wife he had to take care of.
I think they should say something. It would help bring peace to the family. I know it's not going to bring him back, but at least to give us a little bit of peace and comfort knowing that the people that did this to my dad are not going to be in the streets destroying any more families, because this is the worst pain someone could go through. I think they should speak up. They could save many more families.
En vez de andar matando gente, destruyendo, entregarlos a la policía para que la policía vea lo que se hace. Y yo siento que si los agarran, mi dolor va a ser un poco menos. Aunque nunca se me va a quitar, pero a lo menos va a disminuir mi dolor.
We're seeking the public's help in generating any information on this case. Anyone that has any information, we would appreciate the call. My name is Detective Joe Espino, and my partner, Detective Bob Kenny, can be reached at the Sheriff's Homicide. In any murder, it's a tragic situation, but more so in this one, when someone totally innocent gets their life taken from them.
Julian's wife was his best friend, his children, his passion. And although they must find a way to move forward, they should not have to do it without answers. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode of Crime Stoppers Case Files. Remember, we are here every week with more crimes and more families needing answers. These are your neighbors. This is your community, and you can make a difference.